Imagine waking up right now, but you are not in a quiet bedroom. There are no walls around you. There is no locked door. There are no blinds to pull down. Instead, you are lying on the ground. 3 feet to your left is your brother. 2 feet to your right is an elder of your tribe. A few steps away, someone is feeding a fire. Around you, 30 other people are breathing, dreaming, tossing, and turning. They can hear every sound you make. They can see every time you wake up. There is nowhere to go. There is no room to retreat to. If you want to cry, they will hear you. If you want to be alone with your partner, they are right there. For 99% of human history, this was how we lived. We evolved in small, tight-knit bands of 30 to 50 people. We hunted together, ate together, and slept shoulder to shoulder. But as modern humans, the thought of this makes us panic. Today, we crave walls. We put passwords on our phones. We build fences around our houses. We lock ourselves in bathrooms just to have 5 minutes of silence. We view privacy as a basic human need. So, it raises a strange and fascinating question. If early humans lived constantly exposed to their tribe, how did they have privacy? Did they ever get to be alone? Or did privacy as we know it simply not exist? To understand this, we first have to look at what privacy means to us today. Today, privacy is physical. It is an architectural invention. When you want to be alone, you close a door. You put a physical barrier between yourself and the rest of the world. Walls give us the freedom to be unseen. Behind a closed door, you can take off your social mask. You can cry without being judged. You can stare blankly at a ceiling. You can be entirely, selfishly yourself. But in the ancient world, physical walls did not exist. Early humans were nomadic. They moved across open savannas, vast forests, and tundras. Their shelters were temporary, perhaps a shallow cave, an overhang of rock, or a simple structure of branches and animal skins. If you were part of an early human tribe, there was no physical way to separate yourself from the group, at least not without putting yourself in extreme danger. To wander far away from the campfire meant stepping into the territory of leopards, wolves, and bears. To be alone in the ancient world was not peaceful, it was terrifying. Isolation meant vulnerability. Isolation usually meant death. So, early humans stayed close, very close. But humans still experience shame. We still experience grief. We still have biological needs, and we still have the urge to mate. How did they handle these deeply personal moments when 30 other people were always sitting right next to them? Anthropologists who study modern hunter-gatherer societies, groups that live very similarly to our ancient ancestors, have discovered something beautiful about the human mind. When you cannot build a physical wall, you build a psychological one. Researchers call this social privacy or civil inattention. It is a silent, unspoken agreement within a community. If someone needs a moment of privacy in a tight camp, the rest of the tribe simply pretends to not see them. If 2 people are having an intimate moment in the shadows, the rest of the group averts their eyes. They pretend they do not hear. If someone is grieving or sitting quietly to process a strong emotion, the tribe might give them a few feet of space and actively ignore them. They can't look away physically, so they look away socially. It's a profound kind of empathy. It's the tribe saying, "I see you, but I will act as if I do not, because I know you need to be alone." We actually still do this today. Think about being on a crowded subway or in an elevator. You're packed tightly against strangers. There is zero physical privacy. So what do? You look at your phone. You stare at the floor. You avoid eye contact. You give the strangers around you psychological privacy by pretending they aren't there. Our ancient ancestors likely mastered this invisible wall. But there was one physical wall available to early humans. It was the oldest wall in the world, the night. Before artificial lighting, the darkness of night was absolute. When the sun went down, the only light came from the campfire. The campfire illuminated a small golden circle of safety. But step just 5 or 10 feet outside that circle, and you would vanish into pitch black. The darkness was the original private room.
If ancient humans needed true physical separation, to whisper a secret, to mate, to escape the noise of the tribe, they simply stepped back into the shadows. The night provided a temporary cloak of invisibility. Of course, stepping into the dark was frightening. The shadows belonged to the predators, so the desire for privacy always had to be weighed against the fear of the unknown. You could have your privacy, but only for a few minutes and only if you were brave enough to stand in the dark. When we look deeply into how our ancestors lived, we realize something completely unexpected about ourselves. Today, we view a lack of privacy as stressful. If you had to share a single room with 30 people for a month, you would likely feel overwhelmed, exhausted, and claustrophobic. But for early humans, constant presence was not a burden, it was a comfort. Imagine living in a wild, unpredictable world. You don't know where your next meal is coming from. You don't know what's moving in the tall grass. A simple cut on your leg could be fatal. In a world filled with constant terror and uncertainty, the sound of your tribe breathing around you at night was the most reassuring sound on earth. The sight of your group always out of the corner of your eye was proof that you were safe. It meant you were protected. It meant you belonged. They didn't want to be alone. Being alone triggered deep instinctual panic. It makes us wonder, when did we change? The shift happened when we started building permanent settlements. About 10,000 years ago, humans invented agriculture. We stopped wandering. We started building solid houses with thick mud walls. We invented rooms. We invented doors. We invented locks. As our societies grew larger, jumping from groups of 30 to villages of hundreds, and then cities of millions, we were suddenly surrounded by strangers. We were no longer living with just our trusted tribe. We were surrounded by people we didn't know. And so we retreated. We built thicker walls. We divided our homes into smaller and smaller private spaces. We learned to hide. Today, we have more privacy than any humans who have ever lived. We have personal bedrooms. We have personal cars. We have personalized algorithms that show us a world meant only for our eyes. We can go days without truly interacting with another human being. We finally got what we thought we wanted: total separation, total privacy. But look at the cost. We're living through the worst epidemic of loneliness in human history. We're safe behind our locked doors, but we feel profoundly disconnected. We've isolated ourselves from the very thing that kept our ancestors alive, each other. Ancient humans had no walls, no locks, and almost no personal space, but they were never lonely. They belonged to a whole. Perhaps privacy is not just about keeping the world out. Perhaps it's a reminder of what we lost when we stopped sitting together around the same fire. We traded the safety of the tribe for the silence of a closed room. And now, sitting in our quiet, perfectly private spaces, we wonder why we feel so alone.